They've said that they're not going to bring in replacement workers, and they've said that they have no intention to move this facility out of London. So let's see what kind of honest, integrity employer this really is. I don't have a lot of faith in them, though.
That was Tim Carrie, president of CAW Local 27, on the picket line after electromotive diesel workers were locked off the job in London. It was perhaps that fight that Carrie is best known for in London, where he pushed the issue of workers' rights front and center, and he hasn't backed away since. After 34 years of working in the London labour movement, Tim Carrie is leaving Local 27 presidency to go to the CAW Family Education Centre in Port Elgin to run their education programs. The Free Press takes a look back at some of his work over the years in London.
We cannot allow a multinational corporation to come into the City of London, attack workers that have been here in a workplace that's been here for 60 years, and think that they're not going to get resistance. Because they're going to get resistance from us, but I believe they're going to get resistance from all of the people in London, because anybody that looks at this with any form of common sense says to themselves, if my employer came to me as a profitable employer today and said, thanks a lot, Jonathan, you did good work for me last year, I made some good profit, but you know what, I need more money, so I've taken half of your wages and half of your benefits. I think, Jonathan, you would tell them to go pound salt, and that's basically what we've told them. Few people in society are getting richer, more powerful, and at the same time we're losing middle-class jobs at an alarming rate. And this is just a really visual example of what that is. A corporation, mega profits, a CEO that gets a $22 million bonus when he leaves, and at the same time attacking workers that produce a quality product. So this is really a visual sign of the 99% and the 1%. Caterpillar is a rotten, miserable employer. They have a history of attacking organized labor, and they're not the example of most employers in our society. What Caterpillar is doing here is absolutely, I'll say, criminal. All I ask is our members of Parliament, like Mr. Holder and Ms. Troopy, to at least say publicly what Caterpillar is doing here is absolutely wrong. That it's an attack on the workers and it's an attack on the community. They can say that. After all, these people did vote for them. We sponsor women's shelters. We work with food banks. We are an important part of the community of London, not only for what we do in the bargaining table, but what we do in our community. Because we know, you know what, time for the race to the bottom is gone, and we've not got to stop this, and we're not going to keep fighting and going to the bottom like the corporations want us to do. Absolutely, there's no weakening of our determination here to get a fair and equitable collective agreement, and I would say if we're prepared to stand out here in weather like this, we're prepared to do this, as the one saying we've always used in a labor movement, one day longer.
Well, thanks, Joe. And in regards to your first comment and the challenges we face and my lack of ability to be articulate, no crap. We face a lot of challenges. The bottom line is, when we're going to talk about jobs, we have to talk about what type of jobs. Does it make sense to have a job and still go to the food bank every week? Is that the type of jobs that we want? So we need to say to ourselves, if we're going to attract jobs in the community, they have to be a job where maybe I can send my kid to university, maybe I can retire with some dignity after so many years, right? Maybe I can actually buy a home so construction can build them. If we don't have that kind of jobs in our community, quite frankly, we have to be very concerned. And I can tell you, just in the CAW, and I have my very good brother here, Dennis McGee from Local 1520, which Ford plant is going down next month. Lears goes down with it. Those aren't included in this. I know that there's great thing about free trade, but quite frankly, I'm dealing with a plant like Accurite right now. Been around this community since 1950, I believe. We used to supply 70% of the North American market with heavy truck wheels. You know how much we do now? 0%. You know where they are? Mexico and in the southern states. Electromotive diesel, we're dealing with that right now. And I think we have to be very concerned, because what's going out there is, let's get these jobs down to below the income levels and maybe we'll stay here. We can't do that, and I want people to understand that. If labor starts to bargain ourselves to the bottom, it's not going to help our communities. So, and it gets emotional, you know. I think sometimes we look at numbers, But you look at people I've worked with for over 30 years, losing their jobs and being happy to get something because they're suffering. We have to remember that. We have to remember the children, the families that are being devastated by what's happening in our economy.